And let's start. Alexei?
Yeah, thank you, Natalia. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, dear colleagues. I'm very happy to come to be the next presenter. Just a second, I'll share my screen. Screen one. Checks. Okay, I hope you see my screen. My name is Alexei Andreev. I am an international expert for building information modeling, or for shortly BIM, or I will call it as a BIM, but it's a quite new future skill. Interestingly enough, what we are really the youngest among future skill family. We about 2 years old, but we really progressing very fast. So that's why I will do 3 parts of my presentation. First of all, I'll discuss what does it mean BIM skill, what's about the Russian national championship, and how we as a Russian BIM skill team can help you to launch the same skill in your country. So BIM skill overview. Our BIM skill history started about 2 years ago. And you see here 2 pictures. One is from left side is from Ireland. We launched the BIM skill in individual mode. And from right side, it's a Russia. We launched it's a team competition 2 years ago. So it was really in both countries, it was shows very great success. And I think in that moment, WorldSkills Russia made a very, let's say, risky, but very wise decision to include BIM skill to the future skill zone at the WorldSkills World Championship in Kazan last year. Also in that moment, they assigned me as an international expert to that BIM skill. And as Natalia told, I took over responsibility for the BIM skill development, and right now I presented the skill to you. We have proof that skill has a very huge interest during Russian national final last year. You see on that pictures, we have 2 Russian teams and 2 international teams. So by the way, one team was from Singapore, which is one of the most advanced countries or cities in the world in BIM. Another country, another team represents European Union, and it was the team from Poland. So we, together with Irish team and UK team, under the supervision of WorldSkills International, we developed a joint technical description for building information modeling. So we took the best from each country, from Irish and from Russian, and combined it into one technical description. That technical description is already approved by WorldSkills International, and you can download it from worldskills.org site. So I hope we'll have the same rules in Shanghai. In August last year, we have BIM skill in Future Skill Zone. And as you see right now on that picture is awarding ceremony. The Irish team won, Russian and Belarus team got the silver medal. That was very interesting and was very tough competition. Interestingly enough, we had places only for 5 teams, but we have application from 8 countries. So unfortunately, who first came got the place here and participated. And again, interestingly enough, as you see, the Belarus team was shared with Russian team with silver place, but they did not launch a proper competition on the country level. But it does not stop them to the podium. The good preparation could help new countries got really good places. And what we have right now, building information modeling is one of the skills, future skills, skill which is recommended to Shanghai. So I mean, the final decision will be done during the General Assembly. So that's why I still think we really recommended skill, but we really have very good interest from among the countries and about industry. Yeah, the question is why where we comes to so far what we right now so popular, so we develop so fast. The reason is very easy. Many countries has a huge demand for BIM professionals. That's a country which was mapped 2 years ago. And you see all continents are here, and that represent country governmental, lead initiatives around BIM. So I mean, all countries are here, all all continents are here. If we're talking about very BIM, is it something new? Historically, as you know, we as a humans are building over 1,000 years. So in principle, if you look on the big buildings, historical buildings in Rome, it's was built around 2,000 years ago, and they still staying, and they still really fascinating from the masterpieces of the people who built it. But what happens now? Uh, Now we have really fallen situation. First of all, each day, only on construction site, we have about 220 million people who work in each day on the construction site. We building right now much more than we built 2,000 years ago. We increase the complexity of our building. We increase demands to our houses. So that's why the complexity and the demand to interoperability is really increased. But if we look into the really economical stuff, unfortunately, from construction industry, the productivity over 40 years is not so improved as comparing to the other industries. Another fact, what's the construction industry uh, is responsible for 30% of our global waste. So I mean, still many things is not optimal. If we're looking about the duration of the construction, it's differently from country for country, but from 30 to 80% of our construction taken longer than it was planned. So it's all shows what it's very inefficient, still an efficient area. With a BIM is quite new approach, which could help us to change that. So the definition is you can read on the screen, but the main differentiation, what we have really approach to see building through its life cycle. So from the idea to designing to construction and to really operation and maintenance, and after an hour we come into either to another cycle through renovation, or we really demolishing it. But we really look at through with a really holistic approach we use it. Secondly, we use all modern opportunities of modern technologies. So I mean, computers, clouds, internet, IoT, smart city, smart home, it's everything here. And the core of that approach, what we have a model, so digital model or digital twin of the building. Having that in mind, having the very good digital models enable us to have these benefits and new qualities, like for example, we could during the designing phase avoid any possible clashes which could occur on the construction site. We can really do the proper planning, what we will have the construction technologies, techniques on the site only in the time when it's necessary. We can really predict exactly how much materials do we need, which one, and then. So we immediately reduce all this extended cost. And if we're talking about operation and maintenance, we can avoid any unsuspected problems if something went wrong, just because we know everything about building. We do our maintenance in time, and we don't have any unpleasant surprises. So everything, it's really comes to what we will have a new quality of work of architecture, constructors, and maintenance workers. In our skills, we concentrated only in the beginning on that life cycle, in the moment where this digital model, BIM model, is creating. And the better this model will be created, the more benefits will get any next steps in that life cycle. So that's why we right now in our skills concentrated on that, maybe the most important part of that life cycle. The big companies started to use this BIM approach in end of 20th century. But it was used usually for some unique buildings. For example, the London Olympic Stadium for Olympic Games in 2012 was built using the BIM. All stadium in Russia for World Cup, for Football World Cup in 2018 was built with the BIM. But right now it's spread it to the industry, not only in use, not only for these unique buildings. In 2011, UK government requested the BIM implementation for construction project with a goal to reduce the cost of the project by 20%. They started it, and it was so successful what 3 years later we did another approach about which will additionally reduce this cost to 34%. So altogether it will give 30% decrease in cost for the construction, and they have additional goals. So all other countries saw this example of UK because it's open data, it's really possible to do, and decided to follow this way. And that the first map which I saw was almost each country had some initiative in that area, just because we saw that example of UK. So that's why in almost any country, the BIM approach is implementing, and we have a huge demand for BIM professionals. When our proof what interest to our skills was showed the skill camp which WorldSkills Russia hosted 2 months ago. We again had the most populated skills, so we have 136 participants from 16 countries, and that was really amazing, amazing event, because we gathered people from all around the world with different approach for modeling, but we really did very successful. So I mean, that's really fascinated me, and that's really works well. So about Russian national final and about BIM skills. So that is a map of Russia with country which participated, region, sorry, which participated in our BIM skills. And if you can see, initially last year, we have 2 teams from one region. Right now, we had 9 teams from 8 regions. And as we have a remote format, we have 7 time zones across Russia. So the east part was in Yakutsk, the west part was in Kaliningrad. What we additionally did, that is really example. If you want to see what was the task, what's the technical description, I put here 2 QR codes. You can really just make a photo and download, or you can go to WorldSkills Russia websites and found it. But you can, if you're interested in just, I really encourage you to use this opportunity to have downloaded and using Google Translate to see what we are doing, what was the task, and you will see next slide the outcome. And we have a technical description. Why I put it here? Because still in Russia we have a different approach. We have team approach comparing with individual approach on global level. But if we're talking about this WSSS part, so WorldSkills skill specification, it's about 95% the same. So 5% it's about country specific, but 95% in the same. So we little bit differentiate in the really in realization. So we have a little bit more for design phase comparing with international, where we have more modeling part of a job. But in principle, we are assessing and we testing the same skills, the same best practices. The question is what our competitor did, and I prepared here some example from one of this year winners. So you see from a right side is a visualization. They did the complete project, and from a left side you see very really more detailed view. So from left side we have 3 parts of a building. Left side is architecture modeling, and right side is construction modeling. But we also did the territory planning, and the most important what we did, we really created this BIM model, which contain information about the materials, about which would use, about characteristics, about type of, for example, the materials which would use, and based on that information, they really created a comprehensive BIM model. So it has graphical information, it has contextual information, and it has fact information and additional visualization. In principle, on the WorldSkills international level, it will be done the same, but not in, so let's say here we had 2 team competition. It will be, for example, modeling only 1 building instead of 3, but more or less that will be the same on the global level. If we're talking about our layout, so that is the presentation, how it looks like. You see, we don't have much equipment. We don't need much equipment for that competition. From the left side, it's place for the competitor. So you see, we have 2 cameras which captured day and night. And the computers, so we can really track everything was fair. From the right side is a table for technical assistant. It's a person who could assist to competitor if something went wrong. And again, you see here additional camera which captured the full competition area. We agreed about following. The technical assistant could help only if chief expert will allow it. The chief expert, we had a special place which called a Center for Skill Management. We have more or less the same layout. So we also have 2 working place, chief expert and deputy chief expert. We have additional table for technical assistants, but it also was a camera, so it was really transparent. If I really reflecting back, we had our skills last week. Everything went well, so it was no problem with connectivity. was no problem with any frauds or etc. So it was really well. We had additional, let's say, uh, yeah, work for the chief expert and deputy chief expert, just because they should come sometimes earlier, because we have 7 time zones to adjust that and let people in remote territory to start more or less in decent time. But aside that, everything went well. And if you're talking about the team which did it, again, we experimenting with some variants because we have a remote mode. Uh, we were dedicated 2 person who sat in that center for skill management in chief expert and deputy chief expert. So their goal was really organize and run and make sure what the competent, what the skills works well, the competence, the competitor works in fair manner according to code of conduct. Me and another expert was assigned as assessment experts. So we joined for the assessment purposes, and we didn't have expert compatriots just because of that remote mode. So only that team has assessed all competitors' work. Additionally, what we experimenting, we try to use this auto assessment, so automatic assessment mode. So that is example how it looks like. So from left side, it was possible to select a set of aspects to be assessed, and automatic procedure run and check the model. To be sure what it's checked correctly, all protocols about checking protocols was exported to Excel, and from the right side you see the Excel file, and we could check of if everything went well. For example, you see from probably you can see, for example, one result in 7 row is euro, and we can really check what is euro. Is it really a problem was with our auto assessment program, or it's really missing something in the model? So I would say what that really works well. It's a really effective way and for transfer judgment. We also have some judgment assessment. So I mean, we as an expert judge it. So it was not only measurement marks, but also it was some judgment marks, and we did it exactly following the procedure, standard procedure of WorldSkills. But in principle, if we have 9 teams or 9, it's really speed up our work for very much. But we also have some backside. Backside, what it requires much preparation time, just because, and additionally, we should really create a marking scheme which is possible to assess using this automatic check-in system. So another challenge we had on the Russian level, we have a multi-vendor approach. So I mean, that example which I show went very well for Autodesk Revit, and we had 6 team of 9 who use this software. So at least for 6, we had very good speed up. We did a little bit, some more or less similar system, which was not so advanced, but used for the Russian vendor. It's called Renga. But for one and for additional vendor, we should really do it manually, just because it was not possible to use the same or similar approach to do this automation. But in principle, if you're talking about having next year, having even more region who will join our skill, that will really works. And we working close with WorldSkills Russia. About that, I provide reports to Natalia about our first experiment. So I would really think it's really worked well. but there is some overheads with that. So, and finally, it's my last part and last slide, how we can help you to start these skills in your territory. First of all, I would really mention uh, what I guess there is still opportunity for you to apply for Shanghai. So I would really encourage you what you will consider about the opportunity and really apply. Why I would recommend you to do it? As you know, okay, I already had communication with many technical delegates about what skills, and we told, yeah, but we don't have it on national level, etc. But the best approach to start something, to learn something, is really do it. And we have right now a very good example from, for example, Belarus, who did not do the national championship, but the team was very well motivated, prepared very well, and we shared the silver place in Kazan. So even if you don't launch it yet on your national level, I would recommend you to apply, just because it will immediately have positive effect to your educational system and to your industry. Secondly, we as a Russian team for WorldSkills, for BIM team, can help you in that journey. Uh, we can help to prepare your experts in BIM, because usually it's really people coming from new to WorldSkills, and they should really know the procedures, documents, how it works, and we can design and run the skill camp. The example I show you several slides before, and that was my goal to show to really grew up, or at least to show to experts in other countries what does it mean to be an expert at BIM skills, and really show how a competition looks like. So that is really possible. The next item where we can help you, it's prepare test project. Why I think it's really did it special life for that, just because that is not very easy way. Uh, we initially thought we can take some model, some project which our universities have or colleges have for educational purposes, but we discovered what it is too easy, first of all, and unfortunately it has too many errors there. So what the way we found the most effective way, we're working with the industry, and we really work with them about sharing way models. And after, it's necessary step to adapt the models to the competition conditions and to international level. For example, if I will take models from a Russian company, it will have too much Russian specific, which is not necessarily needed for the international competition. So that's why it's usually has a combination what we work close with industry to find a model, to discuss, and then to adapt it. So, and right now we have in Russia very good companies who design industry partners who really one of the best BIM leaders in Russia, and they right now BIM managers for the tallest building in Europe. It's Lahta Center in St. Petersburg, so they very knows very well, and usually we really work with them together to create models, to create a task for their competitions. And the last one, we can really help you in organizing or even organize and manage your BIM skills in your country by ourselves. That is probably the most effective way, just because it will be real competition. It will be really training on site from your experts, and it will be really a real task for the competitors. So that's where I see we can help you, and I hope to see many of you. So the best way, all of you in Shanghai. And if you need my contacts, that is here my contacts, you can reach me out or either through WorldSkills Russia, through Natalia, or through Anna, or through Alina, or that is my direct contacts. And with that, I'm finishing my presentation, and I would like to hear your question, please.
Thank you very much, Alexey, for your great experience and for sharing it. Dear colleagues, if you have any questions, please share them or unmute your microphones and ask, and Alexey will be glad to answer. Maybe you want to ask about this automatic assessment or about anything else. Okay, I suppose we can go further, and if you have some questions later, you can leave them in the chat, and Alexey will answer them later, or we will forward them to Alexey if he leaves the meeting till this moment.